I have been told I am live. I fail to believe it until such time as people are here or nobody shows up and like 5 minutes go by and then I just go, well, nobody loves me anymore. The 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 fear I have of basically having to go back and find a 9 to 5 job or actually a graveyard job because I hate 9 to 5s, very much real. So just wait for people to show up. It'll be soon. I'm not going to be here talking to myself into the void for forever. I hope. Really, really hope that's not the case. It is November 2025. The live chat that I hold every month as my thank you to my friends and fans for supporting me in my crazy endeavor to be an author as a full-time job. And then the 5 random people who get picked at the end and get messaged to win coins. And I think I've had one person now who has compiled a set between the 2 giveaways I do a year and the live chats. There has been one person to compile a full set from that. So outside of my officers and whoever won the 2 charity auctions that had all my coins in them, outside of them, we have had one person finally complete a set. So congratulations. I don't know if they're in attendance, but if you are, well done, sir. Too tall. You're in Colorado. I have a hole in this shirt. That is not good. This is my Aether shirt. I don't want a hole in this shirt. Let's see if I can fix that. I see you're in Colorado, so may the roads be safe while you drive the truck, sir. So, we had hoped to have Andy this month, and life came and did things. So we have no Andy. There is just going to be me rambling at you guys again. I will try to once again rope her into December. We will see if I am successful at that point or not. So let me go ahead and do my initial welcome to everyone. No, you're not late. I started like 1 minute early. Let me go ahead and do my initial breakdown of what has come before and what we're looking forward to in the near future. And then I will start in on the various questions that you people are going to have for me. Because without your questions, comments, it's just me staring at the screen and then I call it because my nerves ratchet up too high and I can't function. More so than, having to try to people because that's terrifying enough for the massive introvert that I am. So let's see. Um, October gave us Princely Mistakes, Aether's Revival, Book 11. It did what Aether's does, right in line with everything else, guys. Even though there was a small dip in readership for right near the end of the Kroga arc. With that having come to an end with Princely Mistakes, it'll be interesting to see what Book 12 does when that comes out. Of course, what you're all looking forward to here in just over a couple of weeks is on December 1st when we have Graduating with Honor, Heavenly Chaos Book 4. The art of that is out in the wilds. I know it's up on Patreon, and it is also the pre-order for that is up. If you haven't noticed from the various social media postings and newsletter that went out, letting you guys know that the pre-order was up. The pre-order for that is currently up. Um, that was an interesting book. I hope you guys will enjoy it when we get to it, or when you get to it. I've read it a few times now, between writing it, helping with editing, last minute checks before getting the pre-order together. I really hope you guys are looking forward to it. I've had a few people wonder if I'm going to release it early on like Black Friday or on Thanksgiving. No, guys, it's going to be released December 1st. I am holding to my the first of every even month schedule that I have started for this year, and that is what we are going with. I appreciate the enthusiasm. I hope you enjoy it on December the 1st. Let's see, what else is that? I did do the Reader Nation Day in Vegas last Friday. So not yesterday, but the week before, the 7th. I had 15 books of AR, 15 books of Heavenly Chaos, and then, as you could tell, my pile of books that had been on the floor that I gave away, plus the last of the uh, Alpha Company magnets I had, the rare earth magnets. Hang on. I actually, God, they're so freaking, they are very magnety. So it was this. I had the last of those, which was the first bit of merch I had um, outside of t-shirts. And now, except for, I still have some of the pins, the Alpha Company pins, and some of the Binding Words pins. And then once those are gone, the only other merch that I myself will have on hand are going to be the coins. Those pins I have a tendency to give away at different conventions. I know we gave away like 100 some odd Alpha Company pins at last the first Lit RPG Con, and I think it was 100 of the Binding Words pens as well. I will bring both of those back this coming year in 26. I will have those pins with me again, as well as my Alpha Company T-shirts to give away, because I have a lot of those, and I would like to see them go to good homes, or at least not terrible homes. Um, is that it? So I did meet I had good God, DJ. I know it's late in the day, you're tired, and talking to people isn't your thing, but can you please function halfway decently? I met a couple of fans who had been there, who showed up for the Vegas thing. That was really nice seeing you again. And then there were a lot of newer people, because when you say something like free book, it does get attention. And hopefully, if those people did read them and enjoyed them, hopefully they're going to become fans. We shall see. Um, yes, it is late for me to have coffee, but I need a hot beverage right now. It's the soothingness that helps. Um, I think that's it for book stuff, like right now, because we know where things are, and you have the scroll along the bottom there to help fill you in. So for the people who are wondering where I am in things, of course, Heavenly Chaos 4 is up on pre-order. Antecedents 6, Dreams Manifest, as you can see along the bottom scroll there, that is with my editing team. I am currently writing Aethers 12, and that is where like everything is for book-wise. Audio-wise, Andy finished recording Antecedents Legacy 5 today. It has been proofed. It has now gone off to she'll do the corrections and get it sent off the podium in like the next 2 days. Then it's 100% in Todium's. I see it's going to be one of these nights. 100% in Podium's hands. And I have no idea when, where, how, or why. It will eventually go up on pre-order and then go out until they tell me. And when they do, I will spread it across social media and update the FAQs on the few social sites that I do that on, so Discord and Facebook. Um, once it is up on pre-order and we have that information, I will of course send out the newsletter and update things so people are aware. Aethers 11 is with her audio engineer currently. So hopefully that is going to be done like in this next week. And if we get really lucky, it'll all get done and then handed off to Podium sometime before Thanksgiving. With Thanksgiving being what it is and how busy ACX and Audible get at that time, it probably will not be released by them until December. But it would be very unusual if we don't see it at least sometime in December. That is where I think we're going to be with it. Like I said, we don't have the finished product in hand yet. So, and then mom's here. Hi, mom. Isn't it late for you? Shouldn't you be like, like getting in bed and stuff? It's 5 o'clock and you're an old lady. Are you having your hot milk before going to bed? Just, concerned about your health. That's all, mom. So that is where we stand with things across the board. I can now go look at the questions and comments. Aw, that's nice. But mom, you really should get your sleep. I know that your daughters and your grandchildren from them really wear you out. So you should get some sleep. They're not easy and laid back and don't ask you for things like your son. But nobody, not all of them can be as amazing as me. It's okay. Let's get to your guys' comments and questions, because the more of these I have, the better the live chat, and the more chances you guys have of being dragged over into into being one of the winners that I will message you on Twitch about, guys. I need you to be able to look at Twitch like tomorrow and see if you're one of the winners so I can get you your coin. Because having people come back to me 4-6 months later, not ideal. Do I have a favorite coin? That's like, do I have a favorite series I wrote? I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I have loved everything I've done. All the coins I think work. I have stayed with metal since I think Resurrection Quest was the last coin that had the uh, vinyl-esque like picture on it, and that's just because I don't think those stand up as well over a long period of time. Um, so which ones are those? The Apocalypse Gates and the Resurrection coins, I think, are they're beautiful because it's basically just, it is literally artwork done up on them instead of the metal coin. Um, but I always worry about how they'll hold up. And that just could be me. Hmm? Oh, I could do that, but it's all the way over there, and I don't want to go get it. So on my shelf next to the big die, you guys can't make it out. There's hang on, that there. It's hard to see from back there, and I'm not getting up to go get it. Um, it's a it's an award from Kickstarter for the special edition of Aethers we ran. Um, it basically says best of Kickstarter on it because we were one of the best. We're not Cinnamon levels of best, but hey, not everyone can be Matt. Is Discord an open forum as far as fan fiction? Basically, meaning posting our thoughts on possible paths the books might take. I mean, you guys brainstorming what you think might come in the story? Sure, go ahead. I don't care. I write what my characters tell me, so nothing you guys say on there is going to bother me. As long as you guys are being respectful of each other, and if you put forward a theory and everyone else is like, nah, I really don't see it, I would say just don't try to hold on to it with tooth and nail. That is going to be the path. Um, so I'm I'm if that's what you mean, yeah, that's fine. If you mean you want to write smutty fan fiction of my characters, I would prefer that doesn't show up on the Discord. I have enough things in my head. I'm not sure Paul ever attends. He has done the artwork for all of Heavenly Chaos to this point, and he's done some other artwork for me as well. There are minor quibbles that some people on Patreon have pointed out. But overall, yes, it is very nice artwork, and yes, artists do take small liberties at times. We have to accept these things. They are not gross over exaggerations and things that should not exist, as it were. So if there was something too far gone, I would call Paul out and have him change things. But the things that have been called out are things like, I'm like, yeah, it's good enough, guys. I appreciate wanting it to be as picture perfect as possible, but that is almost never going to happen with artwork. How much research do you do when you write your books? Queensberry Rules, Gladstone Bags. It depends on the books, Blade Master. Like how to set up the tent that was in Binding Words. That was an authentic old tent that the steps would have worked for. So I mean, Queensberry's rules for Lux Voice. Yeah, I've looked into a couple of things. It depends on the series. How rooted in reality is it versus how fictional is it? And if it's not, this is 100% Earth right now, you have to be able to take a little pinch of salt with things and be like, okay, there's a little different flavor in here because he's doing something with it. But no, there are things that I look up and make sure that I have some kind of authenticity to because I think it deserves it. The one I did that most with was probably Lux Voice. And at the same time, I 100% took a whole lot of freelance because it was not Earth and it was not authentic West or authentic, 1888. And I could change some things. And I thought that was fine. I've noticed in AR, Greg doesn't ask the right questions. Okay, cool. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say to that, honestly. I mean, you have you have probably a wider picture than Greg does because you're reading the entire story. You're not there in any given moment, which is going to happen. Anybody who's given a larger view context and can sit outside of things happening in the moment will always have a different picture of things. Um, I don't know what to say to that, honestly. Um, Sorry, you think Greg's not asking the right questions? I guess. Do you have another story after AG's? Okay, I'm pretty sure you mean Aether's Revival, which is AR. AG is Apocalypse Gates, which is a different series. I'm pretty sure you mean AR because AG is done. Um, do I have another story after Aether's Revival is done? Yeah, I have lots of stories in my head. I will have stories into the future. Um, Honestly though, between Aether's Heavenly Chaos and Antecedents should be the one that finishes first. So yes, I have other stories. I hope that helps. If their pattern follows it, will likely be around either New Year's release block or Valentine's block. Considering that Andy just handed them the book, it definitely would not be around New Year's. It would not be. It's not enough quote unquote time for them because they don't do the pre-order launch until they have everything back from their editors and whatnot, and that takes time. So it definitely would not be a New Year's launch for Podium, unless you're talking about ACX. If you're talking about ACX, I still think that for Aethers, I still think we'll see it in December. Hello, Plush. Are you being are you being the girl? Can you come here? Come here. Come here. It's okay. Can you hand me the K off the bookshelf? K. K. It's next to the dice. Eat the plush. Yep. Goodbye, plush. Yeah. So it's gonna be hard to see. That my best at Kickstarter award. Ooh, and it's very shiny, so it's very hard to get a picture of it. But it's a lot. It's like 5, 6 Ks all put together, but they're all like thin, high uh, glare fucking plastic. So yeah. Did you enjoy playing Nicktoons on the dating game? Okay, so some context for people who might not know. Discord and Facebook both had me post 3 different links from uh, DragonCon's fantasy track of different panels I was on. One of them was the dating game. We were supposed to play a character from one of our books to quote unquote do these are the three bachelors trying to date the bachelorette, the old dating game. Probably some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Others of you do. Um, Out of the characters that were there, I chose to be Nick Shun. I was the villain. I was roundly stopped um, basically twice for things that Nick Shun would say in those circumstances. Um, I might have been in a little bit of trouble with the track director who was there for for answering as a villain. So if you want to go see that, there's links on Facebook somewhere because I made a post, and there's links. I think it's in the announcement channel on Discord. Um, yeah, but it's let me see. One was uh, Lit RPG. I'm not Matt Dinneman. One was a romance esque panel. I think it was like all the different types of romance panel, and then that one was the dating game. There was a fourth one, and they haven't put it up yet. And I'm waiting to see it pop up, which was the Boinking Beasties panel, where I promptly get hit in the head with a sex device. I mean, like hard clocked with it too, like nearly concussion levels of let's hit this poor guy next to me with this thing. Um, so I'm hoping they'll put that up, but they have not yet. But I enjoyed being Nick Shun on the dating game. It was nice being the villain. The other two gentlemen were doing like an old nobleman from his series, doddering old nobleman who just had been famous and stuff in his life, and then an absent-minded like professor. So it was a broad swath. It was a lot of fun. If you were to have a child, at what age would you introduce your child to your books? I'm assuming not until they're late teenagers. There are some um, that you could probably get away with at like 14. Dungeon Walkers, because there's no sex on screen there. Heavenly Chaos, Fade to Black as well, and Resurrection Quest. Since there's no sex in any of those books, you could edge a little younger, like I said, 14ish. Um, the rest of my series, um, technically 18. What you decide to give to your child and when you think they're ready to address the issues of sex, though, not my child, not my business. I am not going to tell someone how to raise their child. I will look at you and ask instance if you give an 8-year old one of my books, though. I'll be like, no, because even my clean series probably shouldn't go to an 8-year old, right? I know you're only doing a 3-book rotation. Have you ever thought of doing a Wuxia series? I really don't see AR or Heavenly Chaos as a Wuxia series. No, they're both cultivation, but they're not the over the top psychotic pathway that is Wuxia. And what's the other one? Xanthia? Xynthia? I don't know. I can't say them. I I mean, I don't even speak English well, guys. But that style of thing is very much a strong get stronger and crush everything below you. If I was going to do that, I would need very much a morally gray character to really fit into that. Because honestly, the ones that have the good-hearted, the righteous, basically the paladin characters in those systems, they better have a cheat of epic magnitude to survive, because otherwise they never would. Do you have plans to branch out from Amazon once the license of your stories opens up? Will you go to platforms like Libby, Hoopla, Libro? Are you looking to push for local bookstores? My physical copies can be sold at like Barnes and Nobles and everything else. If you go to Barnes and Nobles and stuff and you ask them to look up the books, they should be able to find them because it's open for them to buy. They should be able to find them and purchase them because I've set it up for that. If you're talking about ebook and or audio, not at this time. There is something that I'm probably going to do next year, but I am not talking about that yet. But it is not for the things I've currently published. Cool. I think I answered that question right. I'm not positive. I'm never positive. For anyone who thinks I'm ever positive about anything I say on these, I hate to dissuade you, or disillusion you, I should say. Question: having read most of your series, with Sean having like 21 wives and Greg working on 12 and Xander at like 6 or 7 and Ben having 2, of should be looking at Reben. With Ben only having 2, of should be looking at Reba. With Ben, is that with Ben only having 2, should we be looking at Reba and the other group to join? No. The Heavenly Chaos is going to be Ben, Atropos, and Sadie. That's the relationship. That's the way it was set out. That's what Ben has told me. Ben has no inclinations otherwise. Will there be other people around them, friends that they group up with at times? Yes. Will there be more in the relationship? No. I think the estimate was May 26. Too tall. So at the moment, I would say that. I am not responsible for the Kickstarter. So that is, I believe that is the estimated date that I was told, though. I didn't really listen to Binding Words, as I have to give all the props to your stories and Andy's storytelling as soon as you hear the first word. I'm called into the world of the book and can see it playing in the back of my mind. I don't blame you. Audio is not for some people. Um, if you have listened to audio and you've really enjoyed it, I understand. Andy does phenomenal. She is my favorite narrator and will always have first right of refusal for everything I write. With the time skip in AR for book 12, are you looking forward to see how much Greg has grown with water, healing, shadow, and other abilities? Considering I'm writing book 12 at the moment, I can say that I am always looking forward to Greg's continued story. I can say that. I'm curious about some of the details in Heavenly Chaos. When the team refers to the heavens, are they informed about the upper bound of power, or are there things that they only learn about later in their ascent? I'm not I'm not positive on that question. Cuddly, I'm going to need you to clarify. When they talk about the heavens, they're talking about what lies beyond the multiverse they currently reside in. What happens after they reach quote unquote rank cap. So I would need you to clarify that further if you want me to answer it in some way other than that. Yes, Mina's tail on the redone cover of Binding Words 2, I believe, is is a discrepancy. And you know what? I was fine with it there. Is it wrong? Yes. Am I fine with it being there because of the artist putting it in? Yes. I am never going to have the perfect cover. I have come to accept this in my life. I am good with allowing some things through. Hello, I'm joining while being a dungeon master. I mean, if the subs are fine with that, Paul, then more power to you, man. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to run your kink, unless you mean the other kind of dungeon master, which is for tabletop gaming. In which case, that can get hard to listen to like this and also be the DM and running a campaign. But once again, I'm not going to tell you how to run things. That's entirely up to you. How many books do you think is left in AL? I will let you know when Xander tells me. But the overall arc for AL is much closer than it is for AR. In AR, did dwarves have their own kingdom at one point? Not that we've been told to this point. If it's not addressed in the series, it is open to fan interpretation until such time that I address it in the series. Our little old plushy lady, the little 6-pound gremlin that I held briefly, is still slowly losing her mind, and she is far more deaf. But she is still her lovable self. And our big chunky monkey 12-pound Black Panther boy is is still the same cat he has been. There have been no major issues for either of them recently, for which we are very glad. It's really early here, but I thought I'd drop in and say hi. I hope everyone is doing well and wish you all the best. I mean, yeah, it would be because I know you're across the pond. So let's see. 5 would be, is that 1 a.m.? So it's like 1:30 in the morning for you? You're either getting up really early or you're going to bed really late. I am actually not going to Dragon Con in 26, too tall. 26, I will be at the Lit RPG Con. At the moment, that is the only convention I'm doing in 26. In 27, I will be going back to Dragon Con and Lit RPG Con, and then after that, I will see how I feel about addressing multiple cons in the same year. This year, I went to Lit RPG, Dragon Con, and then also did the Reader Nation thing. And you know what? 3 conventions, too many. 3 conventions, too many for me. I'm sorry, can't do it. Hurts me on a personal level. Um, so I'm not going to be doing 3 conventions ever again. The question will become, am I okay with doing 2 conventions? So next year I'm going to do Lit RPG Con, maybe Reader Nation, possibly. I'm not sold on that yet. And then in 27 I will be doing Lit RPG and Dragon Con, and then I will make my decisions on conventions and stuff in the meantime. Dragon Con is nice. It's a big convention. There's a chance of me seeing people outside of the genre, maybe introducing them to things, getting them interested in my stories. Lit RPG Con, though, is very focused on the genres and the fans. Um, and it means I get to see more fans because more fans are more likely to go to Lit RPG than Dragon Con. So it's going to be a weight system of where do I think my limited spoon base for conventions is going to be better spent. So at the moment, I am doing just Lit RPG in 26, and then I will attend those 2 in 27, and then decide. And I said that like 4 times, so I should stop repeating myself. That'll be the day. When will the 1 year be for the 4-book rotation to see how it works? This coming year, writing through 26 will really tell me. You have to remember, guys, I started 25 with the last book of Lux Voice. So at this point, I'm just now getting into 2 sets of everything. So going through 26 will tell me how I feel continuing with just a 3-book rotation. So by the end of 26, I will know. Where do you find the information for your non-human species? There's a lot of books on myths, Tech. There's a lot of creature myths out there. Find something that's not singular like Mothman. Sasquatch, multiple sightings, myths of it being more than just a single entity. Lamia, snake people, gorgons, Medusas. Depending on how you take the terms, because gorgons, depending on how you look at gorgons, you can find different creatures and stuff. But elves have been around for the longest time. I mean, Tolkien really popularized a certain style of elf. Um, dwarves have been around back since Nordic times, depending on how you interpret Nordic myths on crafters. So giants have definitely been around since Nordic times at the very least. So, I'm sorry, since uh, the Asir were worshipped, I guess you could say in another way. It gets really hard once you start trying to use words to define things because when I say Nordic times, we still have Nordic countries. It's not like they vanished off the map. The people they're descendants of people who still live there. They didn't just vanish. And I know I'll get called out for something somewhere at some point by somebody because you can't stop them. How much would readers get from blank? Is it more for authors only like Vegas? I am not sure what the asterisk 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 n is. Yeah. If you're talking about Author Nation, the whole week con in Vegas, yes, that's set for more aspiring or new authors to try to help get them to understand how to do things. Um, the Reader Nation is just the one day of just when readers are supposed to be able to come in, meet authors, buy stuff from them, and everything else. Um, the last year was suboptimal for Reader Nation. They charged people to show up to do the whole walk through and see the authors. This year they did not. They asked for people to sign up to their newsletter basically, and that was it. They didn't actually have to pay anything for Reader Nation this year. I think going forward they will continue to make the one-day Reader Nation part of it free. So that is of more value to a reader than it has been in the past. Um, will readers get more from Lit RPG Con than Reader Nation? If you're looking at the entire con, Author Nation versus Lit RPG Con, if you're some kind of aspiring author, romance, sci-fi, urban fantasy, so on and so forth, you're just starting out, or you want to really get into things, then Author Nation could help you. Maybe, I don't know. I've never attended that convention, the Author Nation part of it. Lit RPG Con is totally focused around game lit RPG. It's the genre that most people know and love. Most of you here know the genre in some way, shape, or form, outside of just the harem that I write. Um, from a fan standpoint, I would say Lit RPG is very focused on that. There were a lot of us there, and there's probably going to be more of us there in 26. I can see where, from a fan standpoint, Lit RPG Con is a much better value than Author Nation or even the one day of Reader Nation. So I hope that answers your question. A lot of times when there's cultivation stories, you have to be an asshole or have a cheat skill, otherwise you get crushed really hard. Because in a lot of those stories, it's a very psychotic society. The strong dictate to the weak, and if you're weak and someone strong wants something, they just crush you into paste and take whatever they wanted, which is really an unsustaining society. There is undertones of that in Aethers. I prefaced it with the fact that it's very much frowned upon for cultivators to basically just smash through everyone. You still see that, especially early in the series, where magi are looked at with such fear and worry. It's a magi. I have to be careful of what I say. I don't have them basically just go through and slaughter people on the most part, though, where in Wuxia you would see that. I wanted to temper that back some with Aethers, and I think I have. When we start getting into where clans disagree with each other, I think you'll start to see other aspects. But in Wuxia and those type of stories, it's very much a psychotic landscape. Oh, you're strong, you're weak, you have what I want, give it to me or I kill you. If you even get the option of that and they don't just kill you and take it. You looked at the Jade Beauty. How dare you? Don't you know she's going to be my wife one day, even if she doesn't know that yet? I kill you for doing so. That very much that story. So I think I'm never quite sure if I answer questions or if I just ramble off on some tangent that nobody can follow. I recently found myself reading book stories where current Earth gets system type of apocalypse. Yeah, I've had thoughts of it. The system apocalypse type setting, system apocalypse being a series by Tao Wong. I will give credit to the man who who wrote a very well-known series and called it System Apocalypse. But that style of a system of some kind coming to Earth and it going through some kind of major apocalypse setting has become kind of standard over things. Um, no, I don't think anyone else has taken quite the turn on it that Dinneman has and has achieved his wild success with. I still think that he has had other books that I love just a little bit more, probably because they were well ahead of their time. Let me see. I'm shifting here. Yes, I have thought of different type of apocalypse type systems. I've had many ideas for different things. I don't have the time to put into them at the moment. Once I have other space that opens up, I might see about writing one of them. Have I dabbled in and gotten like a chapter or two down, just like this is the story idea, put it away right now so I can concentrate on what I need to write? Yes. I like the fact that Heavenly Chaos is a triad, as I found that many harem stories become more about sex than story. Gif, when you say harem, I'm going to touch upon one of my favorite rants briefly. When you say harem, it is a broad swath of things. It goes everywhere from heavy relationship of healthy, um, ethical non-monogamy, something like what I write, all the way down to the basest fap fodder that is there just for the titillation to get you off so you can move on. So broad swath of everything in there, right? So when you say harem, we have a brush that we all get painted with. And what most people think about when you say harem originally is fab fodder because that is most prevalent. It is easy to write 60,000. Ooh, come on, camera. A 60,000 word, basically smut story. People make their careers out of that. Okay, um, and that's fine. I mean, if they have success, more power to them. I don't blame anyone for writing things, even if it doesn't sell well. If they've had fun writing it, more power to them. As long as it doesn't cross certain lines. There are some lines I will condemn people for. Um, Going away from that rant, but Heavenly Chaos was always set out to be a much smaller, cozier family for good reason. They are very broken people, and we get to see more of that in four. I know that I got some comments from people that there was too much trauma in book three. While there is not so much trauma in book four, though the moments of it will continue to pop up throughout the series because trauma doesn't just disappear. Um, but Heavenly Chaos was always going to be a triad because of the very broken people involved and the fact that the system is set out around three. So at the moment, out of my series, I have one that is looking to have 12 wives. Hi, Greg. And one that is currently, I want to say seven. I'd have to run through them all. We're going to say seven-ish for Xander. And that's pretty stable. If you add all the different one-offs he's had, then it gets up to around 12-ish. But they're not long-term partners. They're not wives. And he specifically calls it out. They're play partners. They're someone who show up and have a little bit of fun, but they're not part of the big family, as it were. Um, God, there's some fun coming up you guys don't even know about yet, and I can't say anything. Um, I like. I am never going to, and I mean this. I am never going to have a broad a harem as Binding Words turned out to be. Fuck you, Sean. Um, So it should always be a slightly smaller cast than that. I like to think that even with my larger harems, it's not, as you see, it's not so much about the sex, it's about the relationships involved. Wow, it was a really long-winded answer, even for me. Glad you guys put up with me. Really, I am. I know you get this question every Twitch session. Okay, then, Farstrider. What are you reading now? I am always looking forward to recommendations. Are you waiting for the next Monster Girls in Space? I love Tress. M-Tress, Mattress. I love Monster Girls in Space. It's my favorite series out of everything he's written. His other series are good. Monster Girls in Space, my favorite. Funnily, this. Oh, hang on. I gotta go do this now because I can't remember. I'm terrible at names and stuff. So give me 1 second. I have to actually open up Amazon. Go to my content. I'm gonna find the name of his other series. That is now my second favorite series by him. It's in here somewhere. Summoned by Monster Girls. Funny. I didn't Summoned by Monster Girls. He has 2 books out in that series currently. The last book came out, I think October. Actually, I can find out. Click that. Scroll down. Came out October 14th. Was the second book of that series. That's my second favorite series by M. Tress. The joke there is Matt Tress, M. Tress. I love those 2 things. His other series are good, guys. Don't get me wrong. I've read everything he's published. He was a fan before he was a author in his own right. We talk probably a couple times a month, and I love everything he writes. But those 2 series are my favorites: Monster Girls in Space. Clearly the favorite, though, hands down the favorite. What else for recommendations? I just had Amazon open. Why do I do this to me? Guys, I'm sorry. Really, I am. At the moment, I can't. Like, I had to go look that up, and I love what he writes, and I still had to go look that up. So I don't know off the top of my head. If you ask in other authors on Discord, they will have some recommendations. They always do. I myself am a blank, and I don't want to pull up Amazon again. But there's since I get to read so little, I have a tendency to stick with the authors I've known. It takes a few certain people to come to me and say, you should read this series, for me to try to basically branch out more. Now that isn't always the case. I still try to keep up with some of the quote unquote popular harem, but a lot of them turn out to be a little more fappy than ethical non-monogamy. So I could say Centaur. If you haven't read any of Centaur stuff, his Dungeon Academy series is good. I think it's Dungeon Academy series. It's Dungeon Academy 101. If you look up Centaur and look for 101, you'll find it. There are some things in there that I'm on the fence about. I'll be honest, but I have kept up with that series. So, for any of your series, which do you think would do best as a TTRPG? Apocalypse Gates. It was designed to be a game. Now, mind you, that series is also my heaviest series for sex, so keep that in mind if you haven't read it. I appreciate the ability to skip the steamy scenes and audiobooks if I am listening on speaker and others might be around. This is why I think it was back in AG, back in Apocalypse Gates, book 5 or 6, I think is when I started clearly segregating sex into its own chapters to make it easier. And there's almost always some build up going into it. So you should be able to infer, ooh, the next chapter is a sex chapter. So when it starts, you can easily skip, or you can play like the first 20, 30 seconds to verify and then skip before it gets into anything too graphic that you don't want others to hear. So I understand. Ever think you should do a naval series like Privateer's Commission by Durand? I don't think I would do it justice. See, for that kind of thing, I would want to do a lot more research into naval terminology, history, um, just a broad scope of things. There's a reason why I try to stay away from pure hard. Yes, I am a military person. It's the reason Badger was clearly not military, and he was just a military contractor, because I don't want to insult people in the military. So I try to hedge away from some settings. With a fantasy setting, clearly nothing related to Earth, I feel like I have a lot more leeway. Um, for something that is clearly related to some kind of naval, like space opera, full space opera, not antecedents, but like full space opera. Um, I would still want to have some more fullized concept of naval tradition to make it work. I call myself out for calling the dining room in Antecedents Legacy the galley for a reason. So the galley, of course, being the kitchen on a ship, not the dining room. So probably unlikely. There, a long-winded answer to give you a few words. With Heavenly Chaos, if a new semester class has an odd number of students and one does not have a group for the pockets, and they can only delve once a week, then are they not getting the same amount of essence as their contemporaries? As you can delve with each group member's weekly delve, maximum of 3 times a week. So there's a little thing in here. I mean, outside of like the first dungeon, which is fairly easy, especially if you have gear and some skills to start with. Um, Most people are going to have to keep track of their mana. You're not going to keep going into pockets if you don't have mana normally. So even if they could delve something like 3 times in a week, they're really not prone to, because especially for them in the academy, those delves are going to take place, as you can see from book 1, during one day. So that means they would have to delve, come out, delve, come out, delve. So there's not allowed downtime for, you know, the physical exertion of combat plus burning through your mana. If you want to look at it that way, sure, but most people can't just keep throwing themselves into combat for hours and hours on end and burning through all their mana and thinking, oh, it'll be fine. I'm not going to take a bad gash to the thigh that's going to put me out for, a week, or put me on healer's rest because I almost lost my arm. Outside of like the first pocket, which is the goblins, which was fairly easy, as you can see, because 2 people who are only minimally geared, and in the case of Atropos and Ben, no skills between them really, could handle. But most people aren't looking to throw themselves into that, 3 some odd times in a go. Once, sure. Twice, okay. 3 times, yeah. This is where you start balancing things out. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Poison. Um, there's just so much I can do mental health for myself. So 26, I'm taking a small mental health break for me. I just opened Crunchyroll to watch something. As the foremost authority on Shinhofen books, any recommendations? Ah, I mean, my favorite anime is still Gate, so the Self-Defense Force fought. I don't know if that's on Crunchyroll, no. What am I currently watching with Sean? It's something. It's something about a spider. It's okay. I hate the story personally because they keep jumping back and forth timelines, which isn't readily apparent at all. You have to you have to infer things until it becomes a little more obvious. In like episode 8, um, I stick with mostly the isekai series stuff. If it's not that, it's um, different harems. I stick basically to the things that I write, the things that I enjoy. But you're asking me for names at this point? No. If you get around to Sama Spider, if you get around to asking that on Discord, I know you'll get some answers. Thank you for not writing the young masters courting death all the time. I mean, it has its time and place. I'm just not a huge fan of the sheer psychotic nature of most cultivation novels. Guys, I only have like 5-ish questions before I get to the end, which is fine for me if I end a little early. Really is. But I will answer the questions that you give me until such time that I have caught up. So if there are other things, feel free to lend them in. I really like how in Heavenly Chaos, dealing with trauma and how it doesn't just go away, as well as how it shows how important therapy is. I mean, it can be. There's also the fact that therapy sometimes touches on something and it then sets you off again. Look at Ben. I mean, I mental health, real mental health doesn't get talked about enough, and it's okay to need to go to therapy. It's okay to want to need to decompress and try to work through those things. It's okay not to be a psychopath with no emotions. And then for other people like Alvin, it's perfectly fine. I heard there's an author called Chinofin who writes some decent dirty harem stories. I mean, I am a dirty decent a dirty filthy harem author. I have no problem with that. Dirty filthy harem writer. I have no problem with that. I have a challenge coin for that now. Um, there's nothing wrong with exploring how people interact in intimate moments. I just don't think you need to have 6 sex chapters every book, as opposed to some other people who write in the harem genre. So, Valens by John. Oh man, that's an older series. I'm not even sure I finished all of it. I should open up my Kindle and see if I can go back and pull it up. I haven't thought about Valens in a long time. That's old school harem there though. I mean, that's back 2017, I want to say 2017, 2018. He Who Fights with Monsters is good. A lot of people have a love or hate relationship with the main character, Jason. He can be very, very grating to some people. Um, Overall, really good series, but Jason is very, very, very polarizing for people. Very polarizing. In Heavenly Chaos, I do not see the trauma drama as anything more than character building without going into great detail. Abuse and lifelong trauma drama, my opinion is it's against it. Yes and no. I've had other people who say, they endured the same thing and that's not how they reacted, and that's fine. No two people react to the same trauma the same way. As I try to explain to people, just because how you made it through things doesn't mean that's how everyone makes it through things. It's okay to have had a different life. That's fine. I am not saying that this is 100% the way trauma should be dealt with. That's never what I'm saying. Just like I'm saying that not everyone's going to have the same relationships that are in my books. Daniel, I hope you never thought you weren't representing the military well. Trust me, as a veteran, you have done very well in that aspect. I appreciate that, Cass. I really do. but I will always be very careful because I have nothing but the utmost respect for the military personnel, um, United States and other countries. I mean, I know at least one Brit slash Canadian slash, I'm not even sure where Chatfield falls anymore. Um, Other military personnel outside of the United States, I've had nothing but respect for the people who've taken an oath and put themselves in harm's way for their country. Whether or not you agree or disagree with what the country may have had that personnel do is a whole different topic. What inspired you to start making haremlit? I've been in poly relationships for most of my adult life. Yeah, right. The old adage, write what you know, write what you love. I just did that. Now my stories are a little more fanciful and rainbows than real life. I I have not had the small drama you will find in most relationships because I want it to be a positive, uplifting story and not get bogged down with the with the smaller end of dramas. There's already enough dramas with overall storylines. No problem, Chopper. I mean, these things happen. For those who are wondering, um, next month's live chat on the 15th is going to be at 7 a.m. Pacific. So those people with very different schedules have a chance to show up without it, negatively impacting their sleep schedule. So, are you excited to see Naval Warfare in the new Gate anime series? Until such time as it comes out and I see it, I am not making a judgment. I need to see a thing before I pass judgment. I am sorry. There are very few things I will instantly pass judgment on without having first experienced it for myself. Um, for entertainment purposes. Um, if they ever go back and try to quote unquote remake The Princess Bride, I hate you. Hands down, I don't care. I hate it. I hate the very idea of it. I still will only take that as a remake where they take Fred Savage, make him the grandfather reading to the grandchild, and then reuse the footage of the first film. That or a Muppets adaptation. That's it. Otherwise, leave it the fuck alone. Otherwise, I have to wait to see what it is before I pass judgment. What time of year is Lit RPG Con and where is it held? Denver, Colorado, and I believe it's hang on, July. Whoop, July. Nope. Hang on. July 10th, 11th, and 12th of 26. So second weekend of July, Denver, Colorado, 2026. Too tall. That is where it's going to be held. You can go to their website if you look up Lit RPG Con. You'll find some of the information there and stuff. So there you go. If you make it, we will be happy to see you. Do I use Kindle Unlimited? Of course I do. That's where that's also where the majority of the money I make comes from. Is from Kindle Unlimited. For people on a fixed income, Kindle Unlimited is amazing. I will never fault someone for using Kindle Unlimited. I flat out lost track of how many years have passed since the start or the series and the end last book. Can you provide some insight? Greg, I can't even begin to answer that. That doesn't give me a series to go off of. That is, it's for AR. Okay, so hang on. So for AR, I've lost track of how many years have passed since the start. I'm sorry, a start of the series and the end of the last book. Well, the end of the last book was coming up on the end of his end of his Megas posting, which would be from start to the end of his Megas posting would be 10 years. Or just over 10 years, because there was that whole bit where he traveled to the academy. So from the start of the academy to the end of his Megas posting is actually more on like 11 years because of travel time here and there and everything else. So a little over a decade. We'll say a scooch over a decade in the series. I think book 11 ends the year before the end of Megas posting, so it's been 10ish years. So his friends are approaching their middle years. Their children are coming up on their first decade. And there is a thing over here. Okay, that's right. Okay, no. I can come back over here. There's been things and stuff and people. I must say that I love the current 3 book rotation with the dedicated release dates on the first of even months. Lets me plan ahead as much as I do anyway. It makes it simpler for fans to really know. Hey, when is the next Shinhofen book coming out? It's coming out on an even month, and then the only other question that you should have is which book, which series is it this time? And if you've kept up at all, you should be able to infer off of that. And if not, there are FAQs on Facebook and Discord that give you an idea of basically that scroll down along the bottom, what you should be seeing in approximately when. So you say that AL is coming to an end soon, as I'm currently in the middle of AL4. How many possible books do you think? As many as Xander tells me, guys. You have to remember, I've written through 6. You're not going to see 6 until February. Minimum books to finish it, 8. I'm not wrapping it up in book 7. Minimum 8. Is it going past 8? Yeah, probably. Is it going to go to 12? No, it's unlikely. That's all I can give you. Is it possible it goes past 12? Yes, anything's possible. I won't know until Xander shuts up. Do you happen to have 6 fingers on your left hand? Does the length of the live chat have any corresponding effect on how hard the face plant at the end of the day? Length, I'm assuming. Does the length of the live chat have a corresponding effect on how hard I face plant at the end of the day? No. Anything over like 20 minutes and I'm pretty much dead. If like next month I'm going to do it at 7 a.m. So I'll do it from 7 a.m. Let's say it runs 2 hours, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I do a live chat next month, right? 9 a.m. comes, I'm dead. My brain shuts off. I haven't even started writing because that's normally around the time I'm writing. So I haven't even done my chapter yet, but I'm brain dead. What am I going to do? I am probably going to go lay down in my bed and read for a while. Why? Because that's something I can do where it's me in a dark room, not having to do or talk or interact with anyone or anything except maybe a cat and my girlfriend making sure I'm okay. Everything else shuts off. My brain doesn't have to function. I just have to take in words. When I finally get to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't feel like, I want to just fall over. I will probably go out because about that time it'll be about lunch because I eat lunch early because I'm normally up at 5 a.m. I'll have lunch. I'll talk to my girlfriend. I might go sit down and play a game or two. By the time it's all done, it'll probably be 2 or 3 in the afternoon, which is only a few hours from my normal dinner time. And at that point, I'll probably try to get a chapter done. And then I'll have dinner. And then I'll talk to my girlfriend a little bit. And then I'll go lay down after a shower and read. And then I'll go to bed. That's what next month looks like to me on the 15th. It takes me at least a handful of hours from the end of this until I'm useful again, which is a real problem. Like I said, early in the morning. I do them early in the morning, though, because I know I have people across the pond in Europe who are fans. And I want to make sure they have an equal chance to attend these. And it doesn't have to be, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for them. I think that answers what you asked, plus like 6 things you didn't ask. I have a tendency to return and reread your books a lot. You get paid by Kindle Unlimited every time I re-download and reread your books. So here's the thing. What we have been told is no. What every author has been told is no. We only get paid the very first time you pick up a book and read it. However, I have noticed that like when I publish what is coming out here, Heavenly Chaos 4. When Heavenly Chaos 4 comes out in December, there will be Kindle Unlimited pages read in the thousands for the first 3 books. Now, considering my books are at most, let's say 400 to 500 pages, right? And I'm talking like tens of thousands of pages read, if not like 100,000 over the span of a month, okay? Over the span of a month. So let's say each book is 500 pages. That means for Heavenly Chaos 1 to reach 50,000 pages read, that's 100, is that 100? 5,000, 50,000. Yeah, so if it gets to 50,000 pages read, that's 100 people who've picked up that book and read it. Do I think I'm getting 100 brand new people reading Heavenly Chaos 1 for the first time? I find that very hard to believe because it happens like every time the next book of a series comes out. So I have to infer that if you've read the book and turned it back in, and then 6 months later, you've picked up the book again and read it again, that it's recounting that. But we don't know because Amazon will never tell us. They don't want people to game the system, which I understand. But also at the end of the day, I would really like to know how all of these numbers work because we don't know shit. So technically, as far as we're told, no, I don't get paid again. I have my doubts. And yes, there was briefly a plushie. She has a little tent that's in the back corner behind that little wall, that pillar. She has her little tent that she can curl up in. So occasionally you see that. She only goes in there in the winter though. In the summer, apparently it's too warm over there. In the winter, it's warm over there. Because this is the computer room. We have 2 machines running all the time in here. So this room is the warmest in the house. Okay, I am down to just a couple of questions left. Cool. My question always is, when does the next audiobook come out? It's on the scroll, Outlaw. That's the best I can give you. Do you ever find it difficult to write a scene chapter, or do you find it necessary to continue to tell the story? There have been times where I'm writing something and they just stop talking to me. And I'm like, guys, that's fine. I'll get up. I'll go talk to my girlfriend for a little bit. Depending on the time of year, I'll go for a walk. I am not going for a walk at 2 in the afternoon in the summer. Fuck off. It's 100+ degrees outside. I ain't doing that. I don't want to die from heat stroke. I'll sit and play a round of some kind of video game, something, half an hour to an hour ish. And then I'll go back to writing. My voice is picked back up. It's fine. I have never had like the multiple day, like hard writer's block that other people talk about. So, um, I've had an hour or two where I've had to step away and then come back to it, but that's it. Hey, Chopper. I have answered this one. I will not fully know until into 26. Sometime in 26, I will fully know. We appreciate you doing the lives. I get people suck and socializing is rough. It's just the fact that I am so much an introvert, guys. So much an introvert. I have met other introverted people, and then they meet me, and they're like, "Wow, you really are an introvert." Yeah. Would I be perfectly happy sitting in my cave and never interacting with people? Yes, I would. 100%. That sounds lovely. Whenever I see the memes on like Facebook and stuff where they're like, you'd have to spend 3 years completely isolated in your home, never seeing another person. Would you do that for $10 million? I'm like, I'd do it for free. So, eh. How many objects have you had to dodge from your editors? Not many recently. Sammy has mostly been editing in the living room, not in here. We've had some issues with her desktop. We think we finally have them fixed, but I haven't had an editor throw anything at me, shoot a Nerf gun at me, or hit me with a pool noodle in quite some time, and I'm happy about that. And guys, I've reached the end of your questions. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm tired, so I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate all of you who've shown up. I do appreciate every single one of you who've taken time out of your day to come and listen to me ramble. It's always very flattering that you would do so. I don't understand it, and I appreciate it. For those who are wondering, we have the next live chat. I'm sure it's gonna be up here. There we go. Is going to be December 15th at 7 a.m. Pacific. Oh, look at that. My mod put PST. I just write Pacific. You guys can figure out daylight and standard and all the rest of that. You just need to know where on the coast it is, and then you can figure it out for your conversion rating. If you're on Discord, the event that's posted automatically converts to your time zone. So Discord actually has something else going for it besides the fact that you can chat with other fans. Whew, yeah, it's a day. It's a day. I should say goodnight. So until next month, guys, be safe. 2025 has been right along with the rest of the 20s. And maybe going into December and beyond, it'll get better. That's my hope. And when you have hope, it means you're probably going to get kicked in the teeth by life. So stay safe out there, guys. Bye.